G'day guys, it's your old mate Big J here. Welcome to another edition of Aussie Boxing Talk, the show literally punches you right between that fucking eyes. So, today what we're going to talk about, we're going to do a review of the No Limit card that was last night up in Brisbane there, the Pat Rafter Arena, featuring Liam Paro versus the French guy, I think Paro was his name. Liam Wilson was also on the card, Ken Aiken, Lachlan O'Shea, and there's a couple of Floyd Masson, a couple of other fellas in there as well. So, but the big news is, I think we'll start. Actually, no. Let's get to the review first. So last night, was the No Limit card shit? No, it was a lot better than what the last one was. There was a couple of one-sided mismatches in there. Like Liam Wilson's opponent was not much. There was a guy that hit an Indian fella. It lasted about 30 seconds, hit him straight in the guts. I can't remember who that was, but on a whole, the Liam Paro fight was phenomenal. And Liam Paro, I think, does not have what it takes at welterweight because he fought a weight drain 154 and he actually struggled. He got his eye busted. He, like with most southpaws, he leads with his right hand, keeps his hand down so he's face exposed, and old mate, who was another left-hander himself, smacked him right in the face and just busted his eye up. So I think the only reason that Liam won that fight was because his opponent, the French fella, gassed, and Liam won three of the last 4 rounds to get a 116-112, 116-112, and a 117-111 unanimous decision. It was a good fight. Of course, you know, No Limit or Main Event do it. They jazz it up to say it was a fight of the year contender. Yeah, it was a good fight, but at the end of the day, you've got Liam Paro fighting a weight drained 154. That the only reason Liam won is because he gassed because old mate just ran out of steam. So there's not much you can do about that. Does Liam have what it takes to win a world title at 147? He has to prove that in the ring. I'm not going to say whether he is or whether he doesn't. He beat Supreme Matrius, which I thought he would get his head kicked in, but he won. So he does have the ability to perform at the top level, at world level. He's proven that. So can he do it at 147? Remains to be seen. He has to be proven in the ring. Against Mauro Barros, I think he'd win. Against Roland Mero, possibly. Against the guy that he actually needs to fight, the IBF champion, I'm unsure. I think it's it needs to be seen. Liam Wilson's got nothing. They, No Limit was saying that they want to bring Navarrete over here for a rematch. That's not going to fucking happen. Why the fuck would Navarrete come over to Australia to defend his title against someone that almost beat him the first time and that he knocked out, that he beat? Why the fuck would Navarrete do that? That ain't going to happen. So, I mean, you've got to give No Limit credit for trying, but in reality, that's not going to happen. But the real reason for this video is, and I'm glad it's happened, is that Tszyu has now sacked his entire team. Tszyu has now sacked, everyone's gone, including Glenn Jennings, which I'm thinking to myself, when I saw that news, me and T-Street talked about it last night on T-Street Controversy, I'm like, what the fuck? Why would he get rid of Glenn Jennings? Glenn Jennings is the best manager Australia's ever seen. All right? Why would he get rid of Glenn? Glenn Jennings is the reason Tszyu is Tszyu. All right? I mean, Glenn Jennings is a fantastic manager. I mean, when you want manager in Australia, the number one manager in Australia is Glenn Jennings. Why the fuck would Tim get rid of him? I understand getting rid of Igor and the team and all that. Those guys could only get him so far, and now he needs someone to the next epsilon, the next level, which I don't disagree with. But I don't think getting rid of Glenn Jennings was a smart idea. Because Glenn Jennings knows and understands Australian boxing like no other manager internationally. These international managers don't know fucking shit about Australian boxers, and furthermore, don't fucking care. I mean, look at Mick Zarafa. The way that he's been managed over the years by international managers has just been piss poor. So, everyone, I'd say that Mick Zarafa is probably one of the most poorly managed fighters in Australian history. So, anyway, it's like, I don't think an international manager will do Tszyu any justice. I mean, look at, Jai Patai. He's got Eddie Hearn looking after him. Eddie Hearn doesn't give him the big fights that he needs. Mind you, he's in the cruiserweight division, so it's a bit different story. But I think if Tim Tszyu goes purely and solely with Al Heyman. Al Heyman will just use him as cannon fodder for his other guys. So I think that's a mistake, leaving Glenn Jennings behind. Who's he going to get to train him? Well, who knows? Hopefully some big talent, maybe Robert Garcia or someone that actually knows how to train someone like Tim Tszyu. And he's got to get out of that style of fighting. That Mexican come forward style of his fighting, and where he takes 10 punches to throw one, he's got to get away from that. That's not going to work for him. He needs to work on, his ability and his boxing, his body work. His body work earlier into his career, probably up until the Terrell Grouchet fight, was phenomenal. His body punching was ridiculous. So he needs to go back to doing that. But then again, he was fighting low-level guys or, washed-up fellas at that time. So, you got to remember, you look good when you're fighting someone 3 levels, 4 levels below you. If you're a B-grade fighter and you're fighting an E-grade fighter, F-grade fighter, you're going to look great. But, the second they put him in front of a fighter on equal level than him or better, Tim Tszyu got the living piss kicked out of him. So, whether you like that or not, I don't really give a fuck. Those are the facts. So, it's going to be interesting to see when Tim Tszyu returns. I don't think he'll return until start of next year. I think March. I'm thinking March he'll come back. The other problem is money. He was making reportedly anywhere between $1 to $2 million per fight with no limit, and they're probably the next to go. It's like, you're not going to make that money in America. $1 to $2 million, no chance, unless you've got a belt around your waist, and a significant belt. So it's going to be interesting to see where Tim Tszyu goes from here. I wish him all the best. I hope he does get back in the ring. He does become a world champion and he dominates just like his father did. But it's looking very unlikely at the moment. So, with basically 2 complete ass kickings and an extremely unlucky fight in the Fundora first fight, it's have we already seen the best of Tim Tszyu? Has the best of Tim Tszyu passed and now he's just going to be cannon fodder for other fighters? I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I'm still eating egg off me face from bloody the Crawford Kanai fight the other day. So, I was dead wrong about that. So, but I wish Tim well. I hope that he picks a manager that, does what's in best interest for him and not just line their own pockets. But, these international boxing's so different to Australia. It's I think leaving Glenn Jennings was a mistake, right? I think Glenn Jennings will keep him level, keep him balanced. But then again, Glenn Jennings is busy with Liam Wilson and Nikita and other fighters, but none of those guys are world-level talent. Yes, they might get title shots, but they just simply won't win, right? And that's sad because, you want Liam Wilson to become a world champion. He almost did. You want Nikita Tszyu to become a world champion. You want Liam Paro to pick up another belt. But, yeah, it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely, which is a shame, but big things coming for Tim Tszyu. Is it a mistake? Right? Put your comments in. Do you think it's a mistake that Tim Tszyu has left? Not Igor, because that had to happen. That should have happened after the first Fundora fight. Right? They proved beyond doubt that they're not the team that Tim needs in the corner. His corner should have been completely replaced after the first Fundora fight, let alone the second. But keeping Glenn Jennings around should have happened, but I don't know. I think everyone's sacked. I think he sacked the whole lot, including his doctor. I'm not 100% sure about that, but apparently the whole team has been scrapped. So it's going to be interesting to see where Tim Tszyu goes from here. He's not going to do anything until the end of the year. So for boxing fans, the footy finals are coming up. The AFL Grand Finals next week. I'm tipping the Cats versus the Lions. The NRL Grand Final, I hope the Storm play the Broncos again in a rematch from 06 and the Storm kick the shit out of the Broncos. Because fuck the Sydney teams. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks to see that, see where the footy grand final goes and then see how the AFL grand final goes, and then it's boxing season. Once the grand final trophy's raised, boxing kicks in, so I'm looking forward to it. What's on the horizon for No Limit? They do have a card in November. Not quite sure who's going to be on that, considering that most of their top players fought last night. That's going to be interesting. who knows? No, well, I've chewed enough fat. The video's gone for 10 minutes, so I don't want to bore you guys. But as always, tackle the ball, wrestle, croc, harden yourselves the fuck up, and we'll see you another day.